Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're going to test out a new concealer from Tarte. This is the latest Shape Tape concealer iteration. It's Shape Tape Radiant. I have a complicated history with the Shape Tape concealers. The first original Shape Tape is the super matte, super high coverage one, and a lot of people really love that. It's been a favorite of a lot of people for a long time. Personally, I did not really vibe with that concealer. Ultimately, it's just because the original Shape Tape doesn't fit my needs and my preferences. Doesn't mean that's bad, it just doesn't work for me. I have super dry skin, so matte products typically aren't very flattering for me or very comfortable for me, and I do prefer just less coverage. I'm just not a full coverage type of person. That's more of a personal style aesthetic choice for me. But when this version came out, this is the Shape Tape Ultra Creamy. I actually really liked this one. I just dialed back the amount that I use. This is a concealer that I've enjoyed and actually gone back to quite a bit. My main complaint is that for some reason this component gets really gunked up, like it leaks a lot of concealer on me, and every time I use it, it kind of gets messy. I don't know if I broke it or if I did something wrong or what the deal is. Does anybody else experience that with these concealers? Anyway, the point is now there is a new version, a third version. This is the Shape Tape Radiant. So that definitely caught my eye because it feels like maybe something that will work for me. Like I said, dry skin girly over here. So we're going to test these out because I want to know what the difference is between the creamy version and the radiant version. So I'm going to use one on one side of my face and the other on the other side of my face. I'm not going to pair this with any other makeup. I'm also not going to do a full day long wear test. I'm just going to do it for a couple of hours. But I think it'll be enough that we get the point. These are technically the same shade. I purchased the same shade in the Radiant that I bought in the Creamy Concealer. Shade 16N, which is Fair Light Neutral. These don't look exactly the same to me, and you'll be able to see that in the swatch as well because I did a side-by-side arm swatch. I purchased this concealer from Ulta for $31 US. Same applicator here. The Shape Tape concealers are all known for this big, giant, oversized doe foot applicator. It does have a little cupped section in there so it can scoop out quite a bit of concealer. Before I apply any of this, I'm just going to give you a super close-up look at my bare skin. I just did my regular skincare routine and I'm wearing my SPF as usual. I like to give that plenty of time to sink in, and I am wearing a teeny tiny bit of brow gel because I'm not going to put any other makeup on with this. I'm hoping that this will be somewhat normal looking. So here's a close-up look at just my regular skin before we start. This will help give you an idea of what the coverage looks like. Okay, I'm going to do the Shape Tape Ultra Creamy on this side and the Shape Tape Radiant on this side. I'm dotting on some concealer on each half of my face, and I'm trying to make a similar pattern so that the placement is the same, and I'm also trying to put a similar amount down so that it's really a one-to-one. Okay, so I did equal placements around my face, and to try to make it as even as possible, I'm just gonna blend this in using my fingertips so that we get the same application method on both sides. So let's blend. Whenever I blend product in with my fingers, especially a base product like a foundation, a skin tint, a concealer, I don't like to use a wiping motion. I really like to use my finger to press and do like little tiny baby smudges. That way I can keep it in the place where I originally put it, and I'm also trying to avoid creating streaks and swipe marks. I did notice right away that the texture here felt pretty thin, and a glowy sheen was immediately noticeable. Definitely has a bit of a glow to it. Let's blend in the other side and see if that has anything to do with my moisturizer and sunscreen. Once I started blending in the creamy concealer side, it confirmed my original thoughts that the Radiant concealer just feels thinner in consistency. Now, it could be down to age, and let's also consider that with a little bit of the color or undertone difference. I've had this creamy concealer for quite a while, so there is a bit of an open container age difference here, but the creamy concealer is definitely thicker. It has like a gel meets cream texture. I would not describe the Radiant concealer as gel-like at all. It definitely has a more liquidy consistency. Not like it's watery and going to drip down my face once I dot it on, but just that feeling under the fingers is a lot thinner. And I think we're seeing that consistency difference reflected in the amount of coverage and the finish, but mostly the coverage. It's immediately evident to me that the Radiant is decidedly more glowy. It's kind of giving me MAC strobe cream vibes, or you know what else it reminds me of? It reminds me of this with like a skin tint over it. It reminds me of this Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Perfector 4-in-1 Glow. I like to put this down under a skin tint. It definitely gives me this sort of finish. So immediately noticeably more glowy. Now, obviously the creamy side isn't like a flat matte. There's still a little bit of hydrated look here, but this is a lot more glowy, has more of a sheen to it. I wouldn't say it's metallic or sparkly, but it definitely has more of a sheen to it. And the Ultra Creamy really seems to have more coverage. I especially noticed when I was blending on my face that I was getting a lot more coverage on the edges of where I have this like forehead sun damage. This side definitely got more coverage than this side. So right away, noticeable differences there. I'm going to wear this for a few hours. Like I said, I can't do a full day wear test, but I'm not going to put anything else over this. I'm not going to set it with powder. I'm not going to use a setting spray or anything. I have some more clips that I need to film, like swatches and stuff, not my face. And I have a little bit of editing to do, and I also have a whole bunch of just household, real life mom stuff to do. Gotta run the kid around, you know, it's summer, you got a million things. I do need to go to the grocery store. I don't feel like I look too crazy with these two different sides of my face. And it's raining, so this will be a good weather test to go run some errands and stuff. It's pretty warm, and it's very humid because it's very rainy. So we'll see how these concealers hold up to a couple hours of just my regular life, filming stuff and doing mom stuff and running the house, you know. Anyway, I'll be back in a couple hours. Probably won't get a full 6 or 8, but I'll be back in like 3 or 4 hours and we'll see how these held up. Wish me luck. See you there. Hello, I'm back as promised. It's been about 4 hours since I applied these concealers. I filmed a couple of clips for other upcoming videos, and I did not walk Maggie because it's raining and she has no interest in going outside. She's actually such a neurotic mess. Anytime it rains and it's those summer thunderstorms with that really rumbly thunder, so she is not about that life. But I did run to the grocery store. I did get a little bit rained on, so I feel like that's good for the wear test. And I was just sort of checking myself out before I started filming to make sure I didn't have like food in my teeth and crazy eyebrows and stuff. I feel like the two sides looked more similar when I first applied them. Obviously, we could tell a little bit of a difference with the glow, but I feel like the wear is pretty obviously different. Maybe not from afar. I don't think I looked crazy when I was out and about, but when you look up close, first of all, you can just tell from the side of my nose where I just sort of dabbed the extra from my under eyes onto the side of my nose, how much more coverage this side has retained. And you can really tell on my cheeks here too. This ultra creamy side has retained so much more coverage. This had more coverage to begin with, but I feel like this one wore off a lot more over the past couple of hours. When we look here, I don't know if you can tell, I did get a little bit of this concealer bunching up in the fine lines under my eye, and not as much on this side. And now it's not really terrible. I've had worse, but you can see like this sort of bunched up there and this not so much. A lot more of my skin redness and just unevenness is visible on my cheeks on the radiant side. The forehead, I think, just kind of got rained on, so it's kind of bad coverage across the board there. Now, the Shape Tape Radiant side definitely lived up to being more radiant than the creamy side. Overall, I just prefer how this side looked at the beginning, and I definitely prefer how it wore over the past few hours. I do think this would work better in conjunction with other products, which honestly is how most of us are going to use a concealer. This, I think, looks beautiful all on its own. It doesn't need any help. It doesn't need any powder. It doesn't need a foundation or a skin tint or anything. I do think this needs a little something else to boost the coverage. And with the way that it kind of clung to those under eye wrinkles, that could probably be mitigated with some powder. But then I feel like powdering is probably going to take away some of the radiance, and that's the whole point of having a radiant concealer. So just didn't really work out that well for me. I'm a little bit bummed. I was hoping this would be another successful Shape Tape iteration, and really I'm just gonna stick with my Ultra Creamy. You may have different feelings just depending on your skin type and your style, but for me, I feel like Ultra Creamy is still the best. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about this concealer. Have you tried it? Maybe you're a fan of the original Shape Tape, so neither one of these are for you. Make sure you let us know what your favorite concealers are, what your skin type is. Maybe there's another complexion product that you want to see me review. I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! The original Shape Tape. Dang it. You know what I'm saying? Let's just slap on some concealer, shall we? See you now. See you later. See you now. I'm sweating, but I still insist on wearing sweatshirts all the time. It's fine. I'm fine. Okay. All right. See you then. See you now. See you later. See you sometime. The Shape Tape, the original Shape Tape craze was crazy because people were using so much of that concealer too. That was back in the day with like the big triangle concealer, you know what I'm talking about? When you would just put like a huge triangle of concealer right here. If you still do that, that's fine. Do whatever works for you. But that was what was popular, was to do a huge triangle of concealer. And that Shape Tape, if you put that much, just one eye was enough to like cover the whole face. It was a lot. People were going hard for that concealer, and it wasn't a good time for me as a dry skin, low coverage type of girly. The heck was that? Ooh, okay. Gummy bear. My hair continues to grow and grow in size. Whenever it's rainy here, I live in North Carolina. It's very humid. It rains a lot in the summer. And I have curly hair that responds to said humidity. Alright. I think, you know, that could probably... Are you a cartoon character? I mean, it looks fine. It looks fine. It's just this side is noticeably better, especially for the redness coverage. Is maybe these two like a little bit mixed together would work. I'm gonna keep experimenting. $31. Sheesh. Probably better off just getting this. This was definitely less than $31, I'll tell you that. Alright, I gotta go take care of my neurotic dog because she's terrified of this store. So I'm gonna do that. And I think I'm gonna make huevos rancheros for dinner tonight. Doesn't that sound good? Sounds good to me. All right, thanks for hanging out. I hope this was helpful or fun or entertaining or just a good thing to listen to in the background while you fold your laundry. I'm happy that you're here. I'm always happy to see your beautiful face. You know why? Because I love your face. And then we'll see you soon. Okay, bye.